Hi guys, welcome. Danny here from the Magic Junk Drawer. So I was thinking a lot about this today and I wanted to do a quick video on it. Um, all right, so when we talk about the law of attraction, a lot of times people will talk about the feelings that are associated with it. So you have this desire. Let's just say you want a new job. You want to channel the feeling that you would feel if you got the job and put that feeling out into the universe. And if you can drum up that feeling and put it out into the universe, it sends out the signals, which should then be reflected back to you. So interesting that I was thinking, I always think about animals because they're very intuitive, especially like dogs. And I was thinking about how and people say it all the time, that dogs smell fear. They also say that dogs smell time, which is why sometimes like the dogs will start to get, like my dog will wake me up at the same time every morning to go to the bathroom. Not always the same time, but around the same time. Yeah, maybe he has to go, but he also you can tell that he knows the time of day it is. My schedule is always different, but it's time to go. So dogs can smell fear, they can smell time, they can sense when somebody's afraid of them. They always say dogs can smell fear, they can sense it. So think of that. If they can sense fear, then you have to be putting the fear out into the universe for them to sense it. So think of it like that. Like if you're having a hard time believing in this kind of stuff, bring it back to animals. Like I always say that with people when they don't believe people that have real psychic intuition. They're like, oh, that's bullshit. Or they get stupid. They're like, well, if she's psychic, then what do you need to make an appointment with her for? She should know you're coming. That's ridiculous. People with psychic intuition don't know everything. They know some things, and they can tune into a situation if they're aware of it. It's not like you stand in front of them and they can tell you every single conversation that's going to happen for the rest of your life. I mean, that would be insane to believe that someone can do that. But if you believe that, if you go running past a dog, here's an example. I'm not afraid of dogs. I've never been afraid of dogs. But sometimes dogs have startled me. So I was out running once and I ran past a house and there was never a dog there before. And I didn't see him, but he saw me. And it was a huge German Shepherd. It was gorgeous. It had a lot of gold in it. Its eyes were gold. And I don't know if it had an electric fence. I don't think it did because, like I said, I never saw this dog there before. I kind of don't think it belonged to that house. Or if it did, I don't know. I'd never seen it before. So anyhow, so the dog spotted me. It ran up to the curb and it started barking at me. And it startled me, so I was afraid. But I'm not afraid of dogs. So I stopped and I was like, hey, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And I was talking very sweet to it. And the dog stopped, like almost as if to say, is this bitch crazy? I'm a German Shepherd. And it stopped. It looked at me. It cocked its head back and forth. But it did startle me because I didn't know it was coming. And the next day, oddly enough, the same thing happened. And I stopped and I was like, come on, you know me. We met yesterday. And then the dog just turned around and went back to the porch. So they say the dog can sense fear. That would be something that you're putting out into the universe. Another time I was out running and I was at a park that wasn't far from the studio that I worked at. I taught a class, I went out for a run, and I was coming back for the next class. And as I was coming around, it was a small park, really small. A woman was walking a Shar-Pei, and the Shar-Pei was up far ahead from her, but it was on a leash. And as I went to go past her, she yelled at me, she's not friendly, she's not friendly. And the dog is like, so of course I have to be overly dramatic, and my arms are up in the air, and I'm like, ah! Meanwhile, the dog was on a leash, and I can run pretty fast. But the dog did kind of snarl at me, and it was like it was going to come after me. Meanwhile, it was a small thing. It was a Shar-Pei. It wasn't that big. The point being is that these feelings are going out into the universe. If animals can sense it, then it's not really too crazy for us to believe that it's going to get reflected back to us. So if you feel like, if you're feeling bad all the time or you're feeling very down, that's going out into the universe, and then that's going to be reflected back to you. So whenever you feel like, oh, I don't believe in this, just think about it. Think about it with animals. Animals can sense fear. Animals can sense time. Animals have this intuition that maybe they have because they don't have logic. They don't know how to think with logic. And with us, if we don't have, we can't see it, touch it, taste it, feel it, or hear it, we don't believe that it exists. But yet, some remarkable things are happening for people that, you would not, they wouldn't think would happen to them if they actually stopped and thought about it. Like sometimes you just have to kind of go with your intuition. I've been in situations where I'm thinking, oh, this is never going to happen, or I'm not going to do this, and then I just find myself taking the actions towards it, towards the goal, and I wind up attaining it. So it's not that hard. But I feel like most of it has to do with us getting out of our own way. And instead of thinking the negative thoughts towards the situation, focusing on what it is that we want. I will get the new job. I am going to get the promotion. I will, whatever it is. I feel like a lot of times we're making it more difficult than it actually is, because we have all these obstacles that we're putting up in our way, that we're only creating more obstacles for ourselves when they don't really exist. They exist in our minds. And I always bring it back to, because we're animals and we're here trying to survive, right? So you're trying to avoid things that are going to cause you pain or horror. Oh, good. You're definitely going to get it. And then next week at this time, you're going to tell me that you got it. Even there's a good practice that was suggested to me where you actually have a conversation, or you can do it in your head. You can have a visual conversation in your head with, a friend, or imagine yourself being on the phone saying, I got the job promotion. I'm so excited. This is, what it entails. This is how much my raise is, so on and so forth. But you could also do that with a friend. Call up a friend and say, I got the promotion, and just talk back and forth, because you're putting those feelings out into the universe. Because when you start to do this and you start to change your emotions, you'll start to see how much easier it is. Since I've been trying to work with changing my thoughts, my mental thoughts, it seems to be easier, and it seems to be coming a little bit more naturally. There was something else I wanted to say about that. Oh, yes. All right. So I have there's a student that comes to the yoga studio. Now, we have a bunch of studios that are all owned by the same person. So he comes to a couple of my classes in different studios. But I have to say something about him. He's very consistent. He goes every day, but he also, if there's something that he physically can't do because he's not flexible enough to do it, if I give him some kind of a modification, he does the modification. It's like he doesn't even think about no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to muscle through it. I'm going to figure it out. He does exactly the modification, and then I've seen this guy's practice grow like crazy. He does amazing things now because he's committed to it. He's not letting his ego get involved. He comes every day. So when I started doing these meditations, about a year ago, at the end of class, with the focusing on what you want, and in your mind's eye, see it happen, so on and so forth, I kind of thought that he would think it was stupid, because he's, it wouldn't seem like it would be something that he would want to do. But what he told me was, after a couple of weeks, we were doing, I'm going to say we probably started around Thanksgiving, and then it was by New Year's that this happened for him. He came back and he said to me, when we were doing the visualizations at the end of class, he didn't really take too much belief in it either way. He just did it. And he said that in his mind, he asked for so much money, bonus-wise or promotion-wise, whatever it was, and like it was something that he never thought he would get, but he just did it in his head and he wound up getting it. And I think that the time frame was Thanksgiving, which is like the end of November, to around New Year's or the beginning of January. It's very interesting that it worked for him. But what I have to say about him is that he's so consistent and he's so, he's not like, he doesn't let his ego get in the way and say, well, I can't do this. This is stupid. It's not going to work for me. It's going to work for everyone else. His attitude was like, well, I'm just going to give it a shot. We'll see what happens. And then when it came into fruition, he couldn't believe that it worked for him. And he said that this has happened a couple of times because that was last Thanksgiving, not the one that just passed. So we've done this, we did it then, and then I changed it, and we've gone back to it a couple of times. It's like every time I do it, it works. The one that he doesn't understand is the specific person one, because he's like, if there's somebody in your life that you want to talk to, just call them. But right away, see, you can see the difference in the attitude between him and other people, because other people won't, their attitude is not just, well, call him, what's the big deal, or call her, it's not a big deal. But that's because his ego does not get in the way of it. Other people's, their ego is, well, he should be calling me, and I'm not going to reach out to him, and and well, if he cared, he would do this. How many times I hear that? If she cared about me, she would do that, and if she really was my friend, blah blah blah. You start assigning meaning to things that have no meaning. There's no meaning to it. For some reason, I think it's because I study astrology, I remember everybody's birthday. I can tell you the birthday of the kids I went to elementary school. They're just in my head. I just know them. I can tell you we had 3 Pisces, me and 2 other kids. I just remember them because I studied astrology and it was fascinating to me. And I love too to see the way families, like my son is at 15 degrees Pisces. My brother's son is like at 14 degrees. He's either 14 degrees or 16 degrees Gemini, and my father is either 14 or 16 degrees of Virgo. So all of our sons are squaring each other, really. Well, mine and my father's are opposing. But I always thought that there will be a Sagittarius that comes in to complete the square at like 14, 15 degrees Sagittarius. This person hasn't shown up yet, but I think that there will be at some point someone that shows up that fits that slot. So these things have always been in my head, but I also know people like they have no idea. They don't remember their parents' birthdays. When I was getting my passport to go to Italy with one of my friend, the one that had the boyfriend that she hated and she wanted to stab him, but then she was really depressed when they broke up. That friend, her and I went to Italy together, and when we went to get our passports, she had to ask me what her parents' birthdays were. She's like, what's my father's birthday? Is it the 28th or the 29th? I'm like, it's the 28th. She's like, I'm glad you're here. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything that I know her parents' birthday and she sometimes confuses the two. It doesn't make a difference. You're assigning meaning to things that have no meaning. It only has meaning if you make it have meaning. Like tomorrow is Easter Sunday. I know, this is so funny. This is the same one that was late for everything. She could not be on time to save her life ever. So tomorrow's Easter Sunday. Now there are people that are horrible people, and they're just like, that's one of the reasons why I stopped going to the Catholic Church. When I used to go when I was in high school, me and my friends would go on Sunday, and then I would be in the church and I would see that like all these people would either be standing and congregating by the door so they could be the first person out after they received the communion. They didn't wait till the end. They got the communion, they got the hell out of there. Or a lot of times I was in church with some of the parents of people that I was friends with, and I would hear them gossiping about other kids. And I'm like, I can't believe grown adults are talking bad about other people's children. Meanwhile, I'm like, do you want to know what your kid's doing? Because I could tell you. So I just like wanted to disassociate myself from the whole thing. So once again, you're going to church, how many people are going to be in church tomorrow, but they're not following what it is. You don't have to go to church to be a good person. You don't have to go to church on Easter Sunday. It's what you are. It's what you believe. It's how you treat people, and what you do, the good that you do in the world, etc., etc. Not, well, I was at church every week. Big deal. That's not a big deal to me. So I find it to be pretty fascinating how, and it was pointed out to me when I had a conversation once with Amanda from Create Your Future with Amanda. She was like, "You're assigning meaning to things that have no meaning." And I say it all the time with social media. Actually, Amanda just did a video yesterday about social media, talking about like looking at other people's pictures and then writing stories and drawing conclusions. And this is something that years and years ago, I stopped. I got off of Facebook because I was really starting to dislike everyone, because I feel like I'm pretty real. Like, I might not tell everybody everything that's going on in my life, but I don't make things better than they are, and I don't put on like a show. And a lot of my friends were like, in person, would be telling me what's happening in their life. And then when you went on Facebook, it was like, who are you? Like, who are you? This is not what's going on. This is not what you just told me 5 minutes ago. Like, you're standing in front of me crying about something, and then I go on Facebook and you're like a Disney princess? Please. So I was just starting to really dislike people, because why are you doing that? What are you trying to make me jealous? I don't give a shit. Are you trying to convince yourself? I don't understand what the point is. But I've known so many people, and especially with the tarot cards, people will contact me for a tarot reading and tell me that they saw X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh dear God, please do not go on social media, because you don't know what is true and what is false. Most of the time, what you're watching is somebody else's shit show, and it's not real. But yet people get very upset by this stuff. So that's why I'm always like, what's the point of that? For me, I got Facebook years ago because I had a friend who lived in Italy, and she had a baby, and it was a great way for her to be able to put pictures up of the baby, and everybody could see, rather than her having to email everyone separately. And then what happened was, one person found me, and then it just exploded. I became friends with one person in my life here in the US, and then that was it. It exploded. And I always felt like I couldn't say no to anyone that sent me a friend request. So now I just leave it there and even bother with it, because the truth of the matter is, the people that I'm closest to, I'm not even friends with on Facebook. And the people that I'm closest to, I see them every day, or they're in my life here. So what do they need? To look at a picture of me? They could look at a picture of me. They could look at me. I could be with them in person. They don't need to look at a picture of me. And now with all these asshole filters and stuff, I'm like, oh man, who's got deer antlers and cat ears? I'm like, oh man, what's happening here? I got no time for this. Anyhow, I do use it for just with the YouTube channel, only on Instagram, just so that I can get like it's another avenue to drive people to my channel. But anyway, so that was a tangent. Anyhow, I did start doing some research on the Archangels. I'm not finished. I don't have enough about them to make videos, but I'm going to make separate videos about them. I did, though, find my book here on Archangel Raphael. I told you that he was my favorite because I remember that when I was reading this book years ago, there was a story in here about a woman who was 42 when she started running marathons. And I have a student that comes to yoga, that comes to our studios, and I think she was 54 or 56 when she ran her first marathon. Anyway, it was last year or the year before. And in here, I believe it was this book, it might have been another one, but she was suffering bad from shin splints, so she used to pray to Archangel Raphael that he would heal her shin splints so that she could run the marathons. And it worked for her, like she was able to continue running. But he's also, if you can see here, my phone is so shitty. You see how he's on a unicorn? I love unicorns. So that's another thing. Now, You see this thing here behind him? That's like the doctor symbol of the two, but they're the two serpents, I think they are. And I believe that that's about healing miracles, pain management and reduction. Raphael helping healers, emotional healing. It's also diets, exercise, and addictions, protecting our pets. I've always thought more of St. Francis for protecting the pets because they always have those. I think it's in February that day where you could take your animal to the church and they'll give them a blessing. But I have not been part of the Catholic Church for quite some time. Anyway, so it's interesting here. This is a non-denominational book. It doesn't matter what religion you are. You could read about the archangels. When I was doing my research, it did say that basically the archangels are believed in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So those three, they're big, broad kind of religions, but those three believe in the archangels. And it says here that he's a powerful celestial being who heals people and animals. He's a supreme healer in the angelic realm. And in fact, his name means God heals, or he who heals in Hebrew. Many believe that it's derived from the Hebrew word Raph, which means medicine doctor. Although Raphael isn't named specifically in the traditional Bible, theologians identify him as archangel who has healed the feeble at the Bethesda pond described in the Gospels. He's also reputed to be one of the three angels who's visited the patriarch Abraham and his wife Sarah to announce the help of their children's conception, who's healed Abraham's grandson Jacob wrestling injuries, and who has given King Solomon his magical ring. In Catholicism, he is Saint Raphael, the patron of healing physicians, travelers, and matchmakers. Raphael appears by name in the canal. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Canonical, that is considered part of the Bible by the Roman Catholic and the Eastern Orthodox churches since 397 AD. So that's the healing thing that the doctor symbol. It also, in yoga, they say that it's the Kundalini. So it would be the Ida, the Pingali, and then when they cross, they mark the chakras which go up the spine. So it's interesting that a lot of these things, they're very similar. They may have different names, but they're very similar from one tradition to the other. Archangel Raphael and you. I frequently get letters from people who are surprised that angels help humanity. They seem astonished or doubtful that famous angels such as Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel would help the average person, especially in modern times. Aren't these angels from the Bible? Yes, and they continue to help us thousands of years later. Angels are God's messengers sent to earth to enact the Creator's plan for peace for everyone. To create peace on earth, we need a planet full of peaceful people, including you and me. So the angel's mission is to do whatever is necessary to help everyone be at peace. Since health issues can interfere with this feeling, it is natural for God that he would enlist Archangel Raphael to bring about wellness to people everywhere. So anybody can ask for Archangel Raphael's help. And they say that he likes to make himself known. So you may see his name. You could see something close to his name. Like I told you that time I was going through my photos and this card fell out, which was a garbage pail kid. It was the only one that was in there, and his name is Unraveled Raphael. So I took that as a sign. Raphael is not a very common name, so if you happen to see it somewhere, I would take it as a sign that he was around. They also say that you may see like green sparkly things. He sends green. They say that he likes to make himself known. He's not shy. The term archangel is derived from the Greek phrase, the greatest messenger of God. Angel means messenger of God. Archangels are larger, more powerful, and more specialized than the guardian angels. Listen, we need some powerful guys over here, so we got to call them the big guns. Spiritual texts have described dozens of archangels, although most major religions narrow them down to 4 or 7. Raphael always makes the top list, along with Michael, the protector angel, and Gabriel, the messenger. See, I always knew that there were 7 that corresponded with the 7 days of the week, the 7 colors of the rainbow, and the 7 mystical number. Like, that's like a big number. But you got to kind of be careful if you do research about these guys, because sometimes they call them different things. Like Michael, Raphael, and Gabriel, pretty much I find across the board, but some of the other ones, they come up with different names. Archangels have no egos and no physical bodies. They're completely unlimited beings. This means that they can be with countless people simultaneously, having personalized interactions with anyone who calls them for help. So you don't have to wait for them. They come immediately, which is good. Because sometimes we're in a hurry. And don't worry that you're bothering them, because they're just infinite, that's kind of hard to wrap your brain around. Okay. Anyhow, okay, seeing Raphael. I've seen angels since I was a young girl, a spiritual gift that's quite normal among highly sensitive children. I've never seen angels, ever. Every once in a while, I might see like something out of the corner of my eye, but it just might be my eye. I don't know. It just might. I've never seen anything. I've sensed things. I like sense them, but I've never seen anything. And I'll hear things sometimes, but seeing things, never. I see him as a close, trustworthy friend. He's got a great sense of humor. That's probably why I like him, because I like people that can make me laugh. Like, if you can make me laugh, then that's it. Raphael reminds us of laughter is powerful and it's curative. Since archangels don't have bodies, when a person does see them, they appear in the form that best helps him or her. I have noticed that archangels' physical appearance is symbolic of their specialities. For example, Archangel Michael is the epitome of rippling muscles and a toned physique because he's the protector angel. Archangel Raphael, on the other hand, is more relaxed appearance than Michael, probably because it's healthy to be relaxed. Additionally, the specialty of each archangel creates a surrounding energy field, which visually sensitive people see as colored, sparkling light. There you go. Archangel Michael's energy is a royal blue and purple. Archangel Raphael's is emerald green. Many times when people have asked God to send Archangel Raphael to heal them, they begin to see bright green lights with their physical eyes. Noticing green sparkles or flashes of light is one of the signs that Raphael is with you. You can also visualize emerald green light around the person or the body in need of healing in any way of invoking Archangel Raphael's presence and healing energy. Archangel Raphael is depicted in paintings as the angel guiding Tobias. He's frequently represented with the, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this, caduceus healing symbol, the winged staff insignia on the cover of this book. And all you'll read in the pages follow the healing miracles and that are vast and varied. Many people report seeing Raphael on license plates, clerks' names tags, so on and so forth, validating the healing presence of his nature being around. One thing for sure, Archangel Raphael isn't bashful about letting you know he's with you, because relaxing into the knowledge of his presence has curative effects. Now, if you go into ShopRite, there's a ShopRite, I don't know if they all have them. I can't find them in Stop and Shop, but ShopRite has them in the Goya section. They're candles. They're about this big. I think they call them 7-day candles. and you can get them with the different angels on them. I don't know if they're just saints or if they have the archangel ones. And to be quite honest, a lot of these people, like, I don't even know who they are, like some of the names of the saints that are on them. But they also sell plain candles, like it'll be a solid green candle in a clear glass jar. You can use the green candle for Archangel Raphael. You can use the blue one for Michael. For some reason, I thought that I remember seeing, I always knew of Archangel Michael as being blue, but I think that the candle in ShopRite, now I'm talking about ShopRite, it's not exactly a spiritual place, but I think that candle was red, and I remember thinking that that just didn't sit right with me. Maybe it was definitely, I think it was red. Anyway, you could make your own. You could just get one of the clear green candles and use that, make it an archangel candle, and you can burn it for 7 days for him. I mean, that's my opinion. Healing miracles. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, I need a miracle now. Please heal my body completely and restore me to health. Please clearly guide my path of wellness, support me in all ways, and help me feel whole and healthy now. So he is to support and heal you and guide you in matters of health. He has various methods of healing, including direct intervention, where he miraculously and instantly heals ailments, and guidance, where he directs a person toward the best avenue for health. After reading and hearing thousands of cases, I believe that God and Raphael chose the best answers and methods for healing each person with their particular condition. I also believe there is a divine order behind every situation, even if our human minds can't completely comprehend the whys and the hows. I think that's another big thing. Logically, we want to know how, we want to know why, we want to know when, and sometimes you just don't need to know that. Like, for example, there have been situations where you might need something, or you may be working towards something, and it just seems impossible that you'll reach your goal. And somehow, you just believe that it will work out, and then it works out. You don't always need to know all the steps in between. If you watch the video that I made a few weeks ago about my journey into finally becoming a yoga instructor after years of wanting to do it, and it just wasn't working out, there wasn't a direct line to it. I didn't go from A to B. There were so many ups and downs and hills and valleys in between, but I got there. So sometimes you just have to have the faith that this is what my goal is, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get there, but I will get there. And have faith that you're going to make it to your destination in your time, at your moment. And don't worry, don't get caught up in all the logical stuff, because remember, your logic is probably going to be opposing your intuition or your desire, because it seems like it's impossible. We want to know that 2 + 2 = 4, but the Beatles said 1 + 1, 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. What's the line? Yeah. But they also say that 1 + 1 = 3, because it's you, it's me, and then we become a third when the relationship is a third. So 1 + 1 is 3. I don't know, whatever. Okay. Here's how to ask Archangel Raphael for help. You say your request out loud, direct your prayer to God, address both God and Archangel Raphael. Video I was watching, but somebody was like, right, dear God, dear universe, dear source, Tom Cruise, whoever it is, pray to. And I thought that was so funny, but whatever it is. And then it said to include your preferred religious figure, Jesus, saint, or so on. Think the prayer, write the request, say the words softly or in a loud voice. Say the prayer with reverence or with frustration. Say a supplication prayer imploring heaven to address your need. Please help me. Use the affirmative prayer, affirming that help is already given, and thank you for helping me. So it's very interesting to me that all of these religious things, no matter what religion it is, They always say to always act like you've already received it. Believe you will receive it and you'll receive it, which is the same thing as the law of attraction. I may have mentioned this woman once before. This woman was coming to my class that I was teaching temporarily, and it was an early morning class on Saturday at 8:30, and she was a little bit older of a woman. I think she said she was a great grandma. She was so cute coming to yoga, and she had a good practice. And I just might not be seeing her now because I'm not teaching that class. She may still be coming. But every time I gave a law of attraction spiel at the end of class, she would come out and give me the Bible verse that it was in. It was written a little bit differently in the Bible, but it was basically the same thing. And basically they say, God created you in the image of himself. If he, has this power, you have it too. He gave it to you. We just don't know how to access it. Or as a way of controlling people, it was never taught to us. We never knew we had it. Ask for help out loud or silent. He can only help if you ask, because he won't violate your free will. Pour your heart out to Raphael, explaining your feelings. Visualize emerald green light, especially around a healing concern. Now, I have heard, or it was suggested to me once, that green light should not be used if somebody was dealing with cancer, because green makes things grow. I don't know how true that is, but if you believe with Archangel Raphael and you think that he can heal it, then I would say to go with it if that resonates with you. Otherwise, I would just change the color to white. Visualize emerald green light healing around the health concern. Notice and follow any divine guidance that comes to you intuitively. Keep asking for help until the healing occurs. Praying for someone else. Archangel Raphael responds to all prayers, including those made on the behalf of other people. If the ill person accepts his help, the combination of more than one person's prayer is very powerful. Very interesting. I'm not a big prayer, but I do like cite out loud my intentions, so maybe that is kind of the same thing. Anyhow, so this book here is The Miracles, The Healing Miracles of Archangel Raphael by Doreen Virtue. And let's see what it says on the back. Whether it's a life-threatening condition, a painful injury, or a troubling health issue, Archangel Raphael is able to heal it. In this truly inspiring book, Doreen Virtue shows you why Raphael has been regarded as the healing angel. He is non-denominational miracle worker who helps anyone who asks. The true stories of miraculous healings within these pages will give you hope and faith that heaven does hear you. You'll read about the ways in which Raphael answers your prayers and learn how to recognize his health-saving advice. You'll also discover how Raphael guides current and aspiring healers, as well as those that can help heal your friends and loved ones, including your pets. This was a good book. Anyhow, now I was researching the other archangels, and I read somewhere that Archangel Gabriel was a woman, but I always thought that he was a man. And then I think I read at one point that they don't really have a sex, angels. I don't know. I'm gonna go through it more, because I'm gonna do a series. I'm gonna do like a video on each angel. I have those cards that I was reading with. They were also Doreen Virtue's angel cards. I was doing those readings last year with the angel cards. I may get back to that. I don't like to get into too much religion specifically, because I'm not really like a religious person. I don't know. I think it's more for me about like training your mind to get what you want, and like, how do I explain it? Like using the law of attraction to bring things to you that you want more of, and filter out the things that you don't. You know, sometimes like I don't want to say what is it? Self-fulfilling prophecies, but I think that we do that to ourselves sometimes. Just like it's so easy for us to say, oh, I'm never going to fit into those pants again, and then you never fit into those pants. It could just be just as easy to say, I'm going to get into those pants again and fit into them, or whatever the situation might be. Like, I think that our self-fulfilling prophecies, if we made them positive rather than negative, we would go a lot further, rather than always feeling like we're behind the eight ball. We could get in front of the eight ball and like be ahead of the game. So anyhow, that's what I've been trying to work on lately. Changing my thoughts minute to minute, staying on top of the things that I think, and also watching the emotions that I'm putting out. Instead of feeling bad, trying to feel good. Like, think about things that have made me feel good, things that I enjoy. Being around people that I want to be around, and trying to not be around people that I don't want to be around, you know, setting up boundaries, that kind of stuff. So I guess that's about it for today. If you don't have any questions, if you have a suggestion for a video or something that you want me to look into, you can always comment below, because I'm up for that. And this week coming up, I'll have a little bit more free time because I won't be working at the school this week, because the school is on spring break, which is a good thing for me because I need a little break. It's a very different kind of atmosphere to go from a yoga studio where it's quiet and peaceful to a cafeteria full of like 200 kids running around. They don't run around, but you know, they're loud, it's chaotic, it's, you know, who's left their homework somewhere and who has to go to the bathroom and who needs a drink and who's this, that, the next thing. Everyone's got an issue. So anyhow, all right. If you like what we're doing here at the Magic Junk Drawer, don't forget to like and subscribe.